Hey everybody, and welcome to Awaken Yoga. Yoga with purpose. Yoga your way. This is a quick warm-up stretch. I had a lot of flow over the weekend, so I'm a little bit tight through my shoulders and my back, and this is just a nice way to wake up. So to start with, we're going to come straight down onto our hands and knees, and we're just going to open up our bodies and start stretching through some cat-cows. Opening up, and then exhaling as we come all the way back and through. Inhale, coming up, and bringing our shoulders stacked over our wrists, knees are underneath our hips, feeling strength as we start to move through. And first thing in the morning, I just like to move around a little bit. I don't like to be too fixated on one way or the other. I just like to move and groove, feel into my body. This is a first pose that I generally like to start with, because it just sets the scene. It lets me create a bit of rhythm and a bit of purpose for my flow for the day. And this is just purely an awakening stretch. It's still a little bit early here. You can see out over the water. And this is an office, not a studio. So it does have that office carpet, which I try to put a rug over. But it's a nice way to start the day. Just do 2 more of these as we start to center. Come into our bodies. And coming back to our tabletop, let's lift the left arm all the way up to the sky, and we'll bring the left arm down and through, and hover above the ground for thread the needle. Bringing that back up, opening the shoulder, opening the collarbone, and again coming all the way down and through and hovering. And one more time, lifting that up to the sky, nice and broad, feeling the opening. And as we come down, let's rest our shoulder on the ground and just use our right hand just to press our right shoulder a little bit higher today. You can take the hand out above if you prefer, but this one's just about more of a twist, a little bit more of an opening. Feeling that through the back left collarbone, shoulder blade, and pressing it up and open, and feeling that back through the left collar blade, and pressing up with your right hand and feeling that back through the left shoulder blade just as it's opening a little bit this morning, and pressing back up and coming back to center. And we're going to do the other side. Right hand flowing up to the sky, opening up, and right hand coming down and underneath and hovering above the ground. Right hand back up to the sky, opening broad, chest open, shoulder open, and coming back down to hover. One last time, opening nice and wide, welcoming the day, and then coming down and pressing the shoulder into the ground. And again, keeping our left hand just here as we just roll open a little bit more opening into our left shoulder, feeling the back of our shoulder blades just stretching open a little bit. Waking up and coming back and through. And from our tabletop, we're going to come to our puppy pose or anhastasana, depending how you're feeling this morning. So puppy pose to start, hands just coming out further in front, keeping our hips stacking over our knees and head coming down to the ground. And you can stay there just as we're stretching open the shoulders. If you have the range and the opening, you are more than welcome to come down to your chest or your chin. And feel that opening through the shoulders, through the back. From puppy pose, pulling out just down to the ground into our sphinx pose. Nice rounding through the shoulders, through the back, pressing up. And then lightly moving our hands out to the side, onto the fingertips to the edge of the mat, and pressing up into a cobra. Coming all the way down. And pressing up into a cobra. And all the way down. Keeping the strength in our feet as we're pressing down into the ground. Thighs engaging, glutes engaging, and down. Hands come down, pressing open and back. Knees go wide into child's pose. Opening up through our back, rolling our shoulders open, hips coming down towards the feet as we lengthen and strengthen. And then knees coming back underneath hips, tucking the toes, and up to our first dog of the day. And from our down dog, let's just pedal out those heels, pedal out the feet, maybe a little bit of movement through the hips. And when we're coming back to center, opening those shoulders up, rolling them down, length coming back, tailbone coming up to the sky, heels coming down towards the mat or pointing to the back of the room. You might want to be keeping a nice bend through the knees to preserve your lower back, or whatever feels right for you. And just a couple of breaths here as we come into our first strength and strong pose for the day. And then coming up to the toes, lifting the hips higher to the sky, tailbone coming up to the sky, and then bringing the hips further down and maintaining that hip position so it comes a bit further back, lengthening through that spine all the way to the back of the room. Pressing back from the hands, walk the hands all the way back to the feet. And let's ragdoll here. Rolling around, waking up. And again, you might want to keep that nice bend through the knees as we just fold. And then on the next inhale, let's slowly articulate the spine, rolling it all the way back up. Shoulders come back, hands are down, lengthening through, gripping through the inner thighs to Tadasana. And we're back and up in our mountain pose. Hands coming up to the sky. Fingertips touch just above and drawing down our hands to our heart center. And opening back up. This time as we inhale for 3, inhaling through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Fingertips touch at the top of the inhale and coming down out through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Hands opening back up again. 3, 2, 1. And hands coming back down through the nose. 3, 2, 1. We'll do one last cycle of hands coming all the way up to the sky. Fingertips touch, maybe a slight gaze up with our eyes softly. And as our hands come down slowly, folding the neck down to follow the hands. And then hinging at the hips, let's fold all the way down to our feet. Coming up, walking our hands all the way back to the top of the mat. So we're back to our downward dog. Then floating the left foot up to the sky, stepping the left foot up and through. Left foot comes, right foot, up and through. Let's take that back to downward dog. Then coming to the ball of the left foot, right foot floats up to the sky. Right foot steps up to our right thumb, left foot to 45 degrees, and coming up to our warrior 1. And hold. Hips moving towards the front of the room. Strength through the outer edge of our left foot. Hands coming up, biceps by ears. And waking up our hip flexors, our hips. Right knee tracking over left ankle. Then hands coming down to frame the right foot. Right foot stepping back to left. Back up to down dog. And then onto the right ball of the foot. Left foot floats up to the sky. Left foot comes all the way up to left thumb. Right foot to 45 degrees. As we come back up to warrior 1. Outer edge of right foot pressing down and into the mat. Strength coming through the left knee above the left ankle. Hands reaching up, biceps by ears. Hips coming towards the front of the room. Lengthen and strengthen. Hands coming down, framing your left foot, stepping back to the right. The plank pose. Holding here for a moment. And then elbows come in to chaturanga. And see if you can then press back up once. And this time we'll come all the way down to the ground. And back to our little cobra one time. Coming up and keeping lightness through these hands. so that we use strength through our back muscles, pressing down through our legs, and come down. And if you're feeling adventurous, come up with me to upward dog. Thighs off the ground, shoulders pulling back, collarbones open, brightness to the front of our room, and the rolling over the toes, and back to downward facing dog. And again, one last time, walking the hands all the way back to our feet, bending the knees, rolling the spine all the way up to Tadasana. Ta-da! And there we go. That's a quick warm-up to get you ready for anything that you need to do today. Thanks for flying with me. Namaste.